When each component within the community realize the true power that they have, they'll be able to bring about change at the top. I've been working with ball kids that you consider at the bottom of the chain, because again, they're going to be the next legends and icons and pioneers in some of these states that are coming up. And if you don't get them in line as they're moving through the system, then they will believe, because that's what they believe now. They believe that they have to kiss the backsides of all of these legends and icons. You don't have to kiss nobody's backside in the ball scene. If that person is doing what they're supposed to do to truly be your house parent or to truly be a legend, you don't have to kiss their backside. Even if they can't stand you, they are going to give you your just due. It's only the people that are trying to keep you subservient to their title that's going to play wishy-washy games with you. And those are the people that ball kids need to get away from quick, because it's ball participants who spend the most money, not ball hosts.
Right. They're the biggest contributors. And now, do you feel like ballroom today is worth going to and participating in, or what's your opinion?
That I feel who?
How do you feel about balls today around the whole United States? How do you feel about, the balls? Is it worth, your time and your money, or is it worth it to just stay home and pay it?
No, I mean, balls have always been a form of entertainment for our community, because, back in the days, there was a point where we couldn't even go to some clubs, and if you dare try to bowl in, like this one club here in Generator, you dare try to bowl, all of the people rush on the floor and try to stop you from bowling. We have come a long way, and it has come to a point where when they see the bowling kids get on the floor, people had started to make circles. But before that, get caught voguing in the club. Somehow you end up getting put out of the club. Ooh. So I think that when people understand the evolutionary period, or what we call, in the collegiate circles, the historicity of a thing, you're able to go back within that history and see its evolution to help you understand why it is or isn't in the condition that it's in today.
Word.
And again, the condition of our ball scene today is a direct result of the high guard, the legends and the icons and the pioneers who have too big of egos that all these old-seated problems that occurred during the evolutionary period, those people have carried that stuff with them through years. Stuff that had happened to them when they were 18 and 19 years old amongst people. They're still bickering and fighting about it today. Wow. And that's more than 20 and 30 years. They still fighting with it. And that nastiness is still spilling over and corrupting, keeping the whole scene in a state of flux when it's unnecessary. When the ball community comes together and finally cleans up its act, I get you hearing it first on your radio station. We are going to start having major network sponsorship. You watch and see.
Wow.
You watch and see. We're gonna start having sponsorship when this community cleans it up. But until it does, we're gonna still be considered just another batch of rave kids, and that's not what we're all about. There are so many people in the ball community that have gone off to war. Some didn't even come back. I mean, there are so many people in our ball community that are policemen, that are teachers. Some have even become lawyers and even professors and on the way. So I don't like it when I hear that, ball kids are always being looked at as, being these stragamuffins of people that ain't doing nothing with their lives except robbing, stealing, and partying all day long. And that's not what our community is all about.
Right. Now, how do you feel about, these children, getting into, cosmetic surgery, silicone, injections, to walk face as a butch queen or as a femme queen, the whole trans life thing? Like, how is that going on? What's going on in the Midwest with that type of stuff and that topic?
Okay. Well, as far as, bald kids or even, LGBT kids going through that transition phase of becoming who they believe they are, I believe that everyone has the right to do that, but they have to do it smartly. Because you got to remember, back in the days, people didn't understand or know a lot about what was going on with silicone before they started allowing it to be put in their bodies. And just like we talked about organizations, within the ball scene having corruption, that same type of corruption was sitting on the FDA panel too before they approved a lot of these silicone injections and these silicone breast implants, backside implants, and everything else implants. Because there was a market out there for it, and people wanted to get their agenda across, and you throw a few dollars here or throw a few dollars there, all of a sudden, you got approval. So I think that bald kids should be mindful and educate themselves. This is the age of technology. There shouldn't be any reason why you should know all available information about implants or any type of cosmetic surgery that you want, if that's what you're thinking about doing in this day and age. You should be able to go and surf the net, find that information, and not just, surfing the net willy-nilly through Google. You need to use scholastic sites like Google Scholar or things like that, or search website, database sites like ERIC or things like that to give you information that's done by either professionals in the fields, scholars, scientists, researchers, things like that, so that you can get all the appropriate information you need before you make that command decision.
I don't believe that girl came
now, when someone decides that's what they want to do, again, there's a process that they need to go through to make sure that's exactly what they want to do. Now, as far as coming to the ball scene and now saying, okay, well, this child just had all type of cosmetic surgery to make herself look sickening so she can be face of the decade for years, because her face will never age with Botox galore. Well, but the way I see that's just the same old argument. It's just taking on a new form. The original argument, if you recall, back in the days was, well, the black kids were upset that Puerto Rican kids and the Latino kids were walking face, because those kids, the Latino and Puerto Rican, they already have sickening face. So the black kids were arguing that it's a disadvantage. Then the next phase comes when you have kids saying, okay, that girl got on makeup. How she gonna win face and her face tore up under all of that? Well, all of those different ticking elements is still a direct result of corruption on the ball scene floor. Because when you look at all these magazine covers with all of these faces plastered all over them, ain't none of them sitting up there in their raw face. So how dare you try to chop a kid for having on makeup versus a girl who claims she don't have makeup, when we know that there's makeup that you can throw all type of water on and it's not going to come off on a white rag.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense. So I see the cosmetics, the silicone injections and the implant as being another phase of that implosion of, trying to block real talent within our scene. It's just another element that's being used to say, well, you don't look better than her, or he looks better than you. all because he has this or he ain't got that. No.
Well, what about makeup versus silicone to enhance the face?
I just see the silicone just being another reason to argue that this person should be chopped because they have silicone in their face. Because everybody that has silicone in their face, they don't look sickening. There are some people that I've seen that have silicone injections in their face, and they look toe up. There's still kids who will still fit them. But the reason they don't fit them is because some of those people that have the injections all in their face and all over their body have been walking for a while, and they got their fanfare, and they don't want to do the honorable thing and chop those people when those people need to be chopped. There are kids on this scene.
On the chat.
There are kids on the scene that can sit. A lot of these girls who are still trying to walk, and they don't need to be walking. You have already had your glory. Sit it down. It's because what ends up happening is the people that they are constantly walking. And yes, if you can still walk, you can still walk. Nobody should ever take that away from you. If you got it, you got it. But if you don't got it, and you know you don't got it, how do you think that's really going to make you feel in the inside when your good girlfriends on the panel award you grand prize, and you know that child that just walked against you was absolutely sickening? You should feel shitty. But if you don't, then that tells you something about that person. It's called good sportsmanship, and that's what we need back on the runway. You got to be good about it. One, we're having fun on the runway. And when you have fun with good sportsmanship, that even brings more life to the whole experience of going to the balls. It's only when you get all this nitpicking stuff going on, and that's when everything starts to get all messy, and girls want to throw trophies and things all over the place, turn over tables. That's madness.
It is madness. Bones should be ashamed of yourself. Now, who do you think is responsible for trying to get this together? Who are the main heads that people should go to get on the board and figure out how they can put their votes in to help change the ballroom scene?
Okay, wait a minute. Can you repeat the question? It was echoed.
I said, now who for those who want to get on the board and speak up for themselves and how to change the ballroom scene community by voting, who do they have to go to make this vote?
Okay, as far as there being in the Midwest region a ballroom committee or ballroom board, there isn't one that I recognize in this region, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason I don't recognize one in this region is because when we tried to establish one in this region that was transparent, where people can go to a site and see, okay, these are all the board members, these are all the committee members, these are the people that are voting, and this is what they voted on. No one who allegedly was on this mysterious Skulls and Bones committee put forth an effort to provide that transparency so that the rest of the community could see it. Well, if you're afraid to reveal who's on this so-called board, then I've always learned that there has to be some other crap going on when you're afraid to be transparent about something that's supposed to be public. So in the Midwest, there isn't one that I recognize. And when we tried to have a meeting last year at this program that was established by Pioneer Percy and Omni at Lynx Hall, in which Kevin, Ultra Omni, and Wardell, both, noted icons in our community, came to our event. None of the people in this region bothered to come, and the excuses were given, or